Hey guys, we're here today for another episode of the Dyno Report. This week, we're going to be testing out this rear chassis brace from ECS Tuning. This isn't an underbody brace, this is an interior brace that goes across the brackets that hold the rear seat up, but this should help with the stiffening of the chassis during turns and reduce that flex. Now, I don't know if it's going to be as substantial as the rear sway bar, but I do believe because we have a rear sway bar already installed, it is just going to make the benefits that much more exaggerated. You're actually going to probably be able to feel this more than if you didn't have a rear sway bar, because you're just adding to what the sway bar is doing, even though it's only a 23 millimeter, which is 2 millimeters over stock. So before we get too far in, I just want to tell you a little bit of where we're at right now. So what I love about this GTI is from the factory, this was already an incredible car. Now, it wasn't the lightest, wasn't the heaviest, didn't have the most power, didn't have the least power. It was compromised in almost every single area, but it doesn't really do any area very poorly, except for off-road. But I mean, I don't want to take this GTI off-road. Took my Audi off-road, and that did not go very well. But this car handled incredibly well from the factory. And what we're doing is just increasing it, showing that it was compromised, so there's more that you could do. Like most cars, it is compromised from the factory in some areas, but the rear sway bar brought those in-corner speeds just to an unbelievable level for such a car like this. I mean, it's not the most powerful, but man, the corners are so much fun now. The lock-in collar kit made that turn-in just so crisp, and then the widened stance from the wheel spacers has just added a little bit of stability. That one hasn't had as much of a drastic effect, but it is all adding up. So this car is incredibly fun in the corners. Now, you're never really gonna hit that high of speeds, but my favorite roads are mountain roads. Roads where you're constantly turning and never really hit a high speed anyway, even if you're in a supercar. That's why I love those roads, is because anyone can keep up with anyone, because it's all about the corners. And it is so much fun. I have a shirt that actually says, happiness isn't around the corner, it is the corner. Now, it's got a 300ZX drifting in it, and I want to do that someday. But even just turning in a front-wheel drive car on mountain roads is that happiness. It is so much fun. It is my favorite. And this GTI handles it incredibly well. Like I said, all these mods that we've done so far have just improved the handling. It's gone up and up and up in how much I love this car. Every time I do something, I fall a little bit more in love, and maybe something isn't as good as the other, but what we've been able to do so far has really compounded and brought other stuff more in line. Like I said in one of my videos about the wheel spacers, is the turn-in seems to be decreased. I didn't have as much feedback and response, or it wasn't as sharp. But then we did the lock and collar kit, and that brought that right back, and that was incredible. So I'm really looking forward to this, mostly in terms of seeing how it works with the rear sway bar, because this is stiffening part of the rear of the car, and I think wheels are about right there, so the sway bar is kind of connected right in this area, right where this is going to be going. So it's adding another point that is stiffened across itself on the rear, just that much stiffer. So when that sway bar goes to bring that inner wheel down, it doesn't have to do as much work, I'm assuming, because it's already stiffened up here. This body isn't gonna go like that. It's gonna stay locked in, gonna move together and not flex and bend and do all these weird things, because we're adding this stiffening. I love this car so much, and I'm so looking forward to seeing how this works in the GTI. I mean, I take the benefit of the doubt. Most companies wouldn't make a product if it didn't actually do something. Now, a lot of you might say there's a lot of things out there that don't actually do anything. I was doing some seafoam research. Apparently seafoam people don't think does too much, but you know what? I always err on the side of a company making a product because they believe it does something and it actually works. So I'm excited to see what this does. I keep hitting my car. Don't want to damage it, but I'm excited to see what this does for the handling of my Mark 6 GTI. So we're gonna get this installed, we're gonna put it in, and we're gonna take it out on the road and see how it drives. So this rear brace was so much easier to install than I anticipated. The lack of drilling was amazing. It just mounted right up. If you'd like to watch the full install video, please head over to my YouTube channel. Oh man, I love this car so much. It's coming along so great. And that bar was so much easier to install than even I was anticipating. I said it was pretty easy, but that was crazy easy. Ooh, the sun's in my eyes. Sorry. It's a little bright, Sorry for the contrast. But this chassis stiffening is fantastic. And because it's pretty much exactly right over the rear sway bar, it works incredibly well. So this turn says you should take it at 25. Let's try 65. Holy crap. That was insane. That got up to 70 on Shh, don't tell anyone, especially my wife. Like, this really is insane how much this is working so well with that rear sway bar. Like, just turning. Oh, sun in my eyes. That's amazing. Absolutely love that. So before, with just the rear sway bar, it really felt like that back end is being brought around, and you kind of still got a little bit of body roll. It was very, very minimal in comparison to stock. But now this, because it's stiffening that point where it kind of rolls and bends and flex, it's like, I don't know, I had the words to describe it, but the more I drive it, the less I know how to describe it, because it is so stiff. It just turns. It doesn't kind of wallow like a boat. Like, I mean, the Challengers are just land boats. This thing is like a go-kart, land a go-kart. No, that doesn't really work, does it? But you kind of get what I mean. This thing is awesome. The reduction in flex is superb. It is so stinking good. I love it with every inch of me. And anytime we do something that allows the car to turn that much better, I just fall in love with it. It is awesome. My left eye is currently getting absolutely obliterated. I'm seriously not trying to make anything up that I feel. I really genuinely try to go in and see how things feel and just kind of sit and understand the car. And this thing is doing great, because before you could kind of feel a little bit of that flex, like the rear sway bar was struggling to keep that inner wheel down as the rest of the car is trying to launch itself off the other way into the corner. Where now when you turn, I think that sway bar is just, it doesn't have to work as hard to keep that wheel down. So that flex is just so much more eliminated. You can kind of feel it. Before it was kind of like you turn and the car would turn, but you're still kind of moving over a little bit. Like, you could feel the car wanting to go over. Now that turn in is so immediate, so sharp, and there is so little roll that you barely notice any movement when you're going around turns. It really is amazing. Oh, here we go, another turn. Oh, it really does just want to stay absolutely planted in the corners. It's amazing. We're taking a little more leisure, but still, you kind of see when you turn in, everything happens very instantaneously. There isn't any delay in body roll, any movement. We've got the bucket seats here, so you can kind of feel when you're hitting the sides of them. And before, you were kind of like, you turn and then you're slowly kind of making your way over to them. But now when you turn, it's like you're in them and you're planted and you're not moving around. It's not sloppy in your seat. And that gives you just driver confidence. That gives you the confidence to do what you need to do when you're going around turns. You're not kind of like holding on for dear life. Oh my goodness, I can't keep it. No, you're planted. You're not roaming around. You're not moving around, and you're just kind of holding it there, and it is spectacular. I know we're just in a parking lot, but working with that rear sway bar is something absolutely stellar. I know this is like a 20-mile-an-hour turn, but oh my goodness, I used to get understeer there, even with the rear sway bar, with that chassis stiffening. Oh, that's incredible. Oh, and so is that sun's brightness. Good night. Love it. Just gonna do a quick little test. We did something very similar with the rear sway bar. Oh my goodness. That's absolutely insane. You just have the confidence to just chuck it. Just chuck it in the corner at whatever speed you really feel comfortable with, except not too fast, because that still happens. And it just grips, it holds, it bites. I'm on tires that desperately need to be changed, but they're holding on just fine with all this. They really are. It's super fun. I'm trying to think of what else I can do to show you just how awesome this is, but like, just really just take my word for it. I mean, this thing's awesome. It's so good and so easy to install. Some of these things can range a little pricey. I got mine on a really good sale. Picked it up at a really good sale, but it is totally worth it. If you have that extra money to shell out to get this rear chassis brace, I mean, it looks really cool too. It looks spectacular. I mean, that's so cool. I keep looking at it. I almost keep my rear seats down just because I get to go look at it when I get in the car. But it really is awesome. It's super easy. I know there's some other companies that make some similar versions. I think those might be a little bit more pricey. I know there's, UB makes Mark 7 stuff. I haven't seen any Mark 6 stuff from them. I'm sad. I like the Mark 6. Wish they made it. But it's awesome. There are several companies out there that make it. I mean, I bet you could even fabricate your own if you're a welder, anything like that. I mean, it's great. This works incredibly well though, because you can twist the bar and press it out to the exact stiffening that you need or want. I put it so it was pretty tight. It was pressing out a little bit. You could kind of see it flexing in the video when I'm twisting it, and it's working great. I would definitely have it a little bit on the tighter end to really get that tension going across the bar instead of it kind of waiting. It's loose and then it flexes and then it catches, but no, you've already got that tension right there. It's already set and ready to go for when you take your turns. This thing's awesome. If you want to get it, just get it. It's awesome. It's so cool. I've also got an install video that I did if you want to just kind of see how it works, kind of get a feel for it. You got the review, you've got the install, all these different things before you buy it. Go for it. I've got those videos for you guys. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please have a great day. And remember, Jesus loves you. Bye.